Hi everyone, welcome to this workshop on Python programming for data science. What we have to cover as part of the workshop, we'll start off with Jupyter Notebook because that's the environment which we are going to use for Python session. It's easy to learn Python using Jupyter Notebook. There are other IDEs available like Spider and PyCharm, which are the popular IDE when it comes to Python programming. And Jupyter is definitely very popular because it's very user friendly. So for the training, we are going to use Jupyter Notebook. What you are going to cover? We'll cover Python basics, data types, data structures, modules, packages, two important modules which are there in Python, NumPy, pandas. And once you get to pandas is where you actually create your data frame. The structured data in simple SQL language, data frame is like table in a database language. That's where we'll get into how to do various data manipulation, data wrangling, all of that. We'll get into the data management aspect. Yeah. So step one, we'll now quickly jump into Anaconda Python Jupyter Notebook. So what I'm going to do is I'll just close my Jupyter Notebook and you have to follow the steps along with me. I'll type Anaconda prompt. Some of you, as you mentioned, you already know Python to some extent. It would be very familiar to you that you how to go about launching Jupyter Notebook. However, some of you don't have not used Jupyter so far, and today my colleague has got the installation done. So what you have to do is type Anaconda. So Anaconda prompt as it comes up, enter, and you can simply type here Jupyter Notebook. Enter. For my case, I'm going to change the path. The reason I'm changing the path is because the training content which I am supposed to train is in a specific folder. So I would have to change it. But in your case, you may simply go ahead and type Jupyter Notebook and launch the Jupyter Notebook. For my case, I have these training content in this folder. As such, I have changed the working directory. I type Jupyter Notebook, enter, and you'll see Jupyter Notebook will open in a browser. Something of this will come on your screen, and Jupyter Notebook has opened in a browser. Something in your case, when you launch it, you will have a blank Jupyter Notebook. Let me simulate that also by directly running Jupyter Notebook from this path. Okay, here this is the folder. So and if there is any content, it will come up. Okay, so something like this, it will open up. This section may be blank in your case. If the folder from where you are launching Jupyter Notebook does not have any file. Okay, first thing, we have to understand the Jupyter Notebook interface and how to go about working with Jupyter Notebook. Whenever you work with any tool, it is important that you become very comfortable with the user interface provided by that tool. At any given point of time, if you think you are not following, unmute yourself, ask question so that we can resolve that then and there. I've got this interface. I'll say new and Python 3. This should open a empty Jupyter Notebook file. Okay. Python program. The default extension for a Python program is .py. .py is the extension of a Python program. However, if you create a file in Jupyter Notebook, the extension of the file, as you can see here, is IPYNB. Python Notebook. Internet, it is a file which opens in browser. So it is a Python notebook file which opens in your browser. So when you create a file in Jupyter Notebook, the extension will be .ipynb. Okay, so this is the cell where we can write the syntaxes. I'm sure you are with me so far. I'm already at 125% zoom of browser, so you will be able to see things in bigger font. Okay, I've increased it further. Step 1, what we'll do is we'll give a name to this file. Here it is untitled. In my case, it is coming untitled 3. In your case, it may come as untitled 1. I click on that. How to give a name? I click on that and I'll just give any name. My first Python code. So I give such name. My first Python code. You see, file already exists. Okay. This is what name I typically give whenever I do a workshop or when I start the Jupyter Python training session. So probably I'll have to give it my first Python code 2. And I say rename. The file name appears here. Now how to go about using Jupyter Notebook. This is a cell where we type code. Now in this cell, if you see, it is blue in color here. If I press enter, it goes green. If I press escape key, it again turns blue. I press enter, it turns green. Escape blue, enter green. When I press enter, it is in edit mode. When I press escape and it is blue, it is in command mode. So there are two modes, command mode and edit mode. When you are in edit mode, here you can see this pencil comes up, which means you can type some code here, a equal to 10. And when it is in blue, it is in command mode. Now what is command mode? Say I have written some syntax and I want to write more syntaxes but in a new cell. What I can do is simply press the keyboard character B. It is in blue. I press the keyboard character B. It introduces a new cell below. I can now write B equal to 20. We are first just learning the tool, the Jupyter environment. I press escape. I press now the character A. It is going to introduce a cell which is above. Enter C equal to 30. So what we have learned so far, we have just opened a Jupyter notebook. We are just trying to understand. So now how do I know these shortcuts? A, B, above, below. If you want to know all of the shortcuts, keep the cell in command mode and press the character H. The entire help on various shortcuts. Here you can see command mode. The various shortcuts you have will pop up. My font is too big, that's why it's not appearing nicely. Let me short it. Okay. I am again coming in that help. So now it's nicely appearing. So you can see various. So A, this is the help for A. Insert cell above. B, insert cell below. X, cut the selected cell. C, copy the selected cell. Shift V, paste the cell above, paste below. This way you can have the help. There are certain keys, certain shortcuts which you will be frequently using. So you should know those shortcuts. A for above, B for below, X for cut, V for paste, C for copy, V for paste. So these are certain shortcuts you should know. So this is about introducing cells above, below, very basic. Again, you may think, what is this person teaching? No, it's very essential to understand these shortcuts, because unless you understand the tool interface, you will not be able to comfortably work with it. Now coming to programming, you know A equal to 10. It's a very simple syntax where you are assigning the value 10 to variable A. However, the cell has not executed. Python is a interpreted language. All of you are programmers. You know programming language. There are two types of languages: interpreted and compiled. In interpreted language, as you give the command, the code gets executed. In a compiled language, you have to first compile and then you have to execute the whole code. So here it is interpreted. So how do I execute? There is a button run here. But I don't want to keep using that run button, because as I keep typing the syntax, I cannot keep taking my mouse up and run. So there is a shortcut. Shift enter. The code has got executed. Shift enter. I again press shift enter. You can see this number. Here the cell is empty. Here the number has come up. Shift enter is the shortcut to execute the cell. Let me bring the focus to C equal to 30. How can I bring the focus to C equal to 30? I can press arrow keys up and down. I press the down arrow, my cell focus moves up and down. So far I have been using shift enter. Hash is for comment. So I am now typing here control plus enter. What is control plus enter? Again, it is a way to run the code. Control enter. What is the difference between shift enter, control enter? In control enter, focus of the cell does not move to the next cell. I press shift enter. The focus of the cell goes to the next cell. So I'll delete everything now. X, 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 everything gone. Okay. So Sanjeev, go ahead and introduce a cell. How do you go about? What is the shortcut? B. It should be in a command mode. It should be in command mode, and the key that you have to press is B. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So let's get into edit mode, I press enter key, A equal to 10. How do I run the code, Nitesh?
In the escape mode in shift enter.
Yeah, you need not be in escape mode. You can be in this edit mode also. Shift enter.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you need
Okay.
not to run the code. You need not be in the escape mode. You can continue to remain in the edit mode also. Okay. Yeah. Sanjeev, you may unmute yourself. Yeah. Thanks. So that's a shortcut. To execute, we can be in edit or command mode. Either of them is okay. Okay. Now I go to this cell. Uh, B equal to 20. I press shift enter. Immediately a new cell is introduced. C equal to 30. Shift enter. New cell gets introduced. So when you are in a cell, if it is the last cell, a new cell will get uh, come up automatically when you press shift enter. So here again I'm in the cell. The cell numbers is automatically keep increasing as you keep typing and executing. Shift enter, the cell number has changed to 8 and my focus has gone to the next cell. Shift enter, the focus has gone to the next cell. I want to delete this empty cell. Arun, what is the shortcut to delete an empty cell? You can message on the chat box, Arun. Okay. Yeah. Anil, what is the shortcut to delete an empty cell or any cell having content? Shortcut. Not sure whether Anil is there or not. Okay. X. Sanjeev, the shortcut is X to delete. So here my focus is there, X. It gets deleted. So we have just learned some basic formatting. Now, why Jupyter Notebook is so popular? The reason why Jupyter Notebook is popular is you can do your work in Jupyter Notebook. At the same time, you can do your documentation also. What I mean by documentation is many times when we do our project, we have to document the various steps. So I want to document. So there is something called Markdown. Markdowns are like HTML formatting you can have. So what I'm going to do is introduce a cell above. So here my focus is on the cell A. Above, I bring an empty cell. Now I'm going to press the key M. Here you see it is in blue mode. It is not in green mode, which means it is in a command mode. I press the key M. M for Markdown. Now it has come in Markdown mode, and now what I can do is enter, and I'll press 1. So key A in command mode, enter cell, enter empty cell above. Double hash. Now I'm using double hash. Key B. I'm not typing again the command mode. Cell below. 3 hash. Shift enter. Execute the cell. These are levels. There are 6 levels. And here I should say shift plus enter. These are levels. I'm just documenting also at the same time showing you the levels. Control plus enter. Execute and keep focus in same cell. M for Markdown. 5, 6 hash. X for cut, C for copy, V for paste. These are the shortcuts which we learned, and now I press Control Enter. This is a documentation of what I did. You may use the same for your project documentation, various steps of your codes that you are running. So you can use that documentation. So here you can see when I just put only one hash, it is actually heading level 1. 2 hash is heading level 2. 3 hash is for heading level 3. There are 6 levels of header, and as you keep going down, you see font size keep decreasing. So we have also understood Markdown. There are some more spatial formatting. Let me show that spatial formatting. I am having tick. The tick is a key which is just below tilde. Typically, it is at the leftmost corner of your keyboard, just below the numeric value 1. So there is a tick. If you see, there is a small tick. Tick is for formatting and gray shading. Okay, so I've just entered a tick. Again, I put a tick, closing tick, Control Enter. You see, tick is formatting and gray shading. The text is in gray shaded. Hyphen is for bulleting. Hyphen is for bulleting. Control Enter. So this is a quick introduction to Jupyter Notebook. You can have HTML also in this. Let me show HTML. So I'll just open one of my file and take one of the topmost syntax to just show HTML. Those who don't know HTML script, don't bother about it. Okay, here is the HTML script. If you know HTML script, what I'm just trying to tell you is, if you are familiar with HTML scripts, you can run HTML scripts also. In this, reason is your Jupyter Notebook file is opened in a browser. And because it is opened in browser, it supports all the HTML syntaxes. So here I have just written a href syntax for showing an image. So what I would want you to do is ignore the HTML script. Just see this, type on your Jupyter Notebook. As you type, you will remember the shortcuts which I have taught so far. With this, we complete the first part of the workshop, Introduction to Jupyter Notebook. Okay, now I move into Python data types, data structures. F11. This is, I already have my codes all written here. So here we now get into the Python basics. You have to visit the website elearning.k2analytics.co.in. Let me send that on the chat box. This is the link. Okay. On this link, you will have this register, login, register, either of that place, register. Click register if you have not registered. Kindly register yourself. Once you register, after register, login, and once you have logged in, you will see resources. I'm going to give the privilege. I'm going to definitely give the privilege. You will have a resources section where you will have, now here there is something self-paced online Python machine learning. So you will have something like this showing up, self-paced online Python. And in that self-paced online Python, you will have these kind of Python videos which are coming here. Installation, data structures, modules, all of that. Those will be visible to you. So that as I teach, there are certain things, because it's a workshop, I'll not be able to take all the content in 1 hour. Okay, if there are no questions, then we conclude today's session here. Thank you.